For the most part on this channel, I'm very optimistic when it comes to Sonic Adventure 2. I've always spoken with that kind of tone. I'm either defending what some people say is bad or praising what is universally known for being good. Other times, I'll actually flip to the dark side and give my objective critiques in a more overarching sense. But what if we sort of nullify both sides of that spectrum? What if we focus in this weird middle area? These are going to be the stages I feel mostly neutral about. Neutral to a point that I don't feel much of anything stimulating when I play these stages. This is going to be focusing on the most boring stages. The title might be confusing for some, and I just want to put it out there. This is not about what stages are the worst, this is about stages that make me feel the least. It's one thing to be Mad Space and to be very annoying to play, but at least you feel that annoyance. You're frustrated. You don't want to play it, but you do, and in a weird, ironic way, you kind of enjoy it because you're going against the status quo in doing so. This is just about the absence of feeling. You're not having fun, you're not hating it, you're just rolling with it in such a casual way. That's what this list is centered around. Let's begin with number 5. This is controversial off the hop. Putting Green Hill at 5th place for the most boring stages in Sonic Adventure 2 has to be a very controversial take. But allow me to explain. Novelty is by far the biggest, greatest leg that Green Hill has to stand on. At least in Sonic Adventure 2, that is. Having unlocked it after that strenuous journey of collecting all 180 emblems is what retroactively makes this stage good. But once you're able to see past that novelty, given enough time has passed since you've gotten Green Hill, you gotta admit, this stage isn't the most fun. It's not a bad stage. I need to stress that. If you do enjoy it, all the power to you. But for me personally, novelty is what held this thing up so high. And unfortunately, that novelty's been gone for some years now, so we're left with an alright, but still somewhat lacking stage. It's a little boring, but it's not bad. Another hot take, and Aquatic Mine just doesn't resonate with me the way it does for others. The water levels are cool as a feature, but I don't think it's enough. The visuals here are a little bit bland. I don't think there's anything here that stands out too much for an experience. The water is a little annoying to traverse through in certain sections. Aquatic Mine just doesn't offer anything of significance that makes me feel a whole lot. I can understand some people saying that. Obviously, the stage is more unique than some of the other treasure hunting ones, so in that regard, yeah, I can see why it's respected by some people. For me, though, this stage is just kind of a bleh show to get through. Whenever I'm playing the hero story and I have to play Aquatic Mine, I just sort of shrug, roll my eyes, get the A rank, and then I'm out of here. I don't really long to come back. Aquatic Mine overall is just a mediocre experience in my eyes, so with that we can move on to our bronze medal. 3rd place, we have Route 101. Now this is probably one of my more acceptable takes in this video, but allow me to explain. So, the reason why I didn't put 280 on here is that I genuinely have a dislike for 280. At least I feel something. I play that stage and I'm like, okay, here we go. With 101, it's the most 5 out of 10 stage I've ever played. Is it necessarily bad? No. It doesn't fit Sonic Adventure 2. It shouldn't be here. But it's not exactly poorly designed. Maybe some of the controls are a little bit, but once you get used to them, you can bypass that. The stage as a whole is just so painfully neutral with me that it was just perfect for this list. I still have to say, it's important that we make that distinction between something that is bad and something that is boring. Route 280 isn't here because it makes me mad. I don't like playing it at all, but at least my stimulation's going off and doing so. This case, it's just, I play the stage, I leave the stage, it doesn't leave an impression, it doesn't make me feel anything, I'm not excited, I'm not annoyed, I'm just so blank when playing Route 101, and for that reason, that's why it has to be number 3. Silver medal, and it's gotta be Sand Ocean, but I want to emphasize I'm talking about Sand Ocean pre-hover, because not having the hover upgrade for Sand Ocean is really bad. Having an already slower paced level and then having to wait for platforms to come to you so you can make these minuscule moves along the way to advance forward, it's just not fun. Some people might say it's a bit of a cop-out that I'm specifically referring to a point where Eggman needs to have a certain upgrade for this not to be here, but let's be honest, the hover in Sand Ocean changes it to a point that it can justifiably be counted as 2 separate variations. In pre-hover Sand Ocean, most of the level is just spent burning your patience away as you wait for platforms to come your direction so you can move forward. That's not good design. I know that I said at the start of this list that I wouldn't be counting levels with poor design, but in this case, considering that poor design makes me wait, which is the perfect candidate for being boring, I think this is a fair call. You can debate me about that in the comments if you wish. For a sort of dishonorable mention, hard to articulate that one, I chose Hidden Base. Hidden Base would have appeared on this list, but I feel like just missed out because the stage felt like it offered a little bit of enough feeling to not feel bleak. It does have a bit of unfair design, the enemies are a little bit bad in this one, but in a way, having those frustrations prevents the stage from making me feel next to nothing, so I guess it's bad enough it saved it from being on this list in a very roundabout way. I don't know, you make the call on that one. But for me, yes, it wasn't quite enough to warrant its place on this list.
It's deeply terrible.
You get the idea. Welcome to Eternal Mediocrity. Welcome to the media place.
I have zero problem saying this. Prison Lane is a bore. Always has been. Probably always will. From its dull colors to its formulaic gameplay, there is nothing that this stage has to offer for your emotional well-being. This is not a stage that you can enjoy torturing yourself over. You are bound to find absolutely nothing to feel about this stage. This is Gen Alpha brain rot at the dawn of Gen Z. That is what Prison Lane is. I have tried again and again to look at the stage and say, okay, maybe this is alright, but I can't. It's not that there's something necessarily wrong with the stage, but there's hardly anything right. Like I said, the colors are devoid of any expression. The entire stage is built in the same way the entire way through. Shoot enemies, advance to the next gate. It's a worse version of Iron Gate. If you do enjoy Prison Lane, I'd respect your opinion more than ever, but understand that I just can't see it. I can't understand what there is about the stage that people do have fun with. If you do have fun, at the very least I'm glad that you can enjoy something that I definitely cannot. But on that same token, I will never truly understand where you are coming from, because my personal experiences has led me to mark Prison Lane as the most boring stage in Sonic Adventure 2. That, ladies and gentlemen, marks the end of this video. I know that this was kind of a title formed around a technicality, and so it might have been a little bit more confusing to follow than my usual opinions, but I think by the end of it, you guys got my gist in what made for a boring stage versus a bad one. I love making these top 5 videos, but I do understand that it's not for everyone and it's a very subjective taste. But do not worry, I do have a video in the works set to come out hopefully within a week or so that is meant to be more akin to that challenge kind of video that you guys seem to enjoy a lot, so stay tuned for that if you're willing. With that though, I hope you have a wonderful day, take care for now, I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.